Good morning, Houston. Welcome to the Patriots Den, a Mike Con production on Radiodabang. I am your host, Patrick Prudham, and I am here with my amazing co-host, the Brian Fuentes. Brian, how are you doing today?
Amazing. It was a bit chilly this morning, but hey, I had to wake up, and after making the drive, you warmed up a little bit. So,
Right, yeah. The question that we have to ask is, are y'all staying warm out there, if that's possible? If that's possible. I'm sitting here right now. I got 5 layers on. Well, I don't have the coat on right now. So 4 layers now, but earlier it was 5 layers of, clothes on because it is right now as we're speaking 30 degrees outside.
when I saw you, I was surprised. There was some sweat on your brow. I was like, how is that even possible?
Exactly. Gloves, overcoat, suit jacket, quarter zip, button down shirt.
I think the only part of you that was showing was your face, frankly.
That's it.
And I was like, you overdone it, frankly,
I did. And I had a scarf in the pocket. And if
Actually.
I needed to, I was gonna just, kind of wrap it around and over the face. They wouldn't have been able to see me. It would have been great. But, this is not we're from Texas, folks. This is not what we need or want. We need the heat to come back. This is not good. I know some parts of Texas, some Houston area places, they got snow. And I can't. The groundhog wins again. Okay, we'll give it to him. He said we were going to have a couple more weeks of winter. We got it. I didn't think he meant like actual winter. This is actual winter.
This is
outside.
winter.
This is winter outside, folks. This is where was this for Christmas? Why can't we get snow on Christmas? Why does it have to be after Christmas when now I'm sick of the cold and I want everything to go back to normal?
This might be a bit selfish, but, it is what it is. I'm kind of happy about it. I got a really nasty flu over Christmas, and I'm telling you, if it was this cold, I would have been dead.
Oh, yeah. I was over winter break, I was sick. But, so, I guess it's a win-win. And I missed the snow in Texas. I was in D.C. for the inauguration. They had snow there, I guess. But I'd like to
it wasn't good snow, though.
It wasn't good snow.
Surprisingly, you think up north, that's good snow, but no.
It's not. It's black, folks.
It's the swamp, the swamp just infects everything, including the snow.
Literally, the snow, I was walking down the street and I saw black snow. I said, where do you get black snow from? I don't know where they knew that. But that's because I was in D.C., the swamp, as you said. But we got a lot to talk about. A lot to cover. So, Brian, you go ahead.
Yeah, so, fun little story. Let's start with something light.
Okay.
The Doge rebate checks.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so if you've been keeping up with the news, our good pals at Doge, they've been cutting a lot of spending, making our dollars not go to places where they shouldn't be. And because of that, the average American we see some benefit in that. I believe up to $5,000 per household if this passes through Congress. Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Bruno, what do you think about that?
I have bigger questions. That's nice that they want to send the $5,000. That's great. But why do we have this money left over? And why is it that we're just now, catching on to this? We've had presidents and politicians all say, we're going to fix the spending. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And when we go look, every person that said they're going to fix the spending, it looks like they spent more or they hid more. Yeah. Why is it that, 25%? 20%? 20% of all savings from, Doge and what Elon Musk has been able to do, 20% is enough for each household, tax-paying household, to get $5,000.
Yeah, you really think about it. It's like, well, how much money are they saving? And where are they pulling this money from? Because last time I checked, my taxes aren't going up this next season. So, it's like, whoa, that money was just there this whole time.
Right. And so I think now they're telling us that they're saving this money. That's great and all. But I want them to now start, showing us what was happening with the money. Like, I understand you're saying, hey, guys, we just saved this. Why did you save it? What did you do? What was the government doing before you showed up that made it to where we had this money just sitting around left over? Show us the receipt for the $900,000 hammer. Show us the receipt for that. Who signed off on that? Who approved it? Who wrote that check? Show us the backing so we know who to blame and we can get them out of there.
This is no fun. It's my friends say, like, they wish they were older back in 2008 so they could have bought a house when the whole thing happened.
Right.
I feel like it's similar right here. I was like, man, I wish I was old enough to, like, work for the government to, sell $900,000 hammers. Like,
that's how you make the money. Yeah. That's how you make the money.
Like, I don't care if a house is, $500,000 if I'm selling a hammer for $900,000.
One hammer. Or if you play the kazoo.
That money's for the whole orchestra, so it's not as lucrative, if you will.
You don't need... How many people do you think is really in a kazoo orchestra?
That's the thing. It's an orchestra.
Yeah,
You need to pay the director, the instruments, the flights, maintenance.
It's a kazoo. What instrument? You pay.
It's top of the line
You
for
could
your
get
information.
a kazoo for like $12 on Amazon.
Well, they're not buying them on Amazon. It's the government we're talking
get
about.
$20.
If we're lucky.
Stop it. Stop it. Someone selling a kazoo to the government, it's $1 million. So you might be right. You might be right. But, you know, we got kazoo orchestras. We got traffic cone counters. We got, you know, hammers. Who approved this? What government agency sat down? What person working in the agency and said, you know what? We need an agency to count traffic cones. We need to know how many traffic cones are in our country. Meanwhile, they can't count how many illegal immigrants are entering our country every single day. A waste of money. If you want to spend the money, since they, you know, have a happy hand, they love to swipe the card, at least spend it on useful information that will actually make the country great again, not traffic cones and kazoos.
Yeah, and those are like the funny examples. There's some other ones that aren't as funny, like the FEMA money. That's the one that really got me, a bit unhappy. We had, obviously, I think we talked about this on the last show, the whole hurricane that happened in Florida, $750 loan to the people. It wasn't a check, it was a loan, which you also had to report on your taxes as well. So it's like, they want to sing it twice, not just once. But no, apparently, illegal migrants in New York were getting millions of dollars for housing in luxury hotels. It's like insane how much money we are spending for either A, dumb things, or B, people who don't like us, or C, people who shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And it looks like Doge is finally raised if they have that extra money.
Right. Which, if it's not for you, it's the taxpayer money that the taxpayers have been, paying on without knowing where it was going. So, you have some selfish people in government. I truly believe that, we have a Republican Senate, we have a Republican House, we have a trifecta. And if Republicans want to do that, go ahead, shoot yourself in the foot. Shoot yourself in the foot, because if you take that money and you give it to yourself and not the American people are going to take their vote and they're not going to give it to you. They're going to give it to the next party.
Yeah.
They're going to give it to the next person.
Because that's the thing. If they don't spend the money now, or I would say spend. They're spending the money by giving it back.
Right.
The Democrats are going to spend it whenever they're in power, or if they get in power.
If they get in power.
Or, if a bad administration gets in power. Like after Trump's gone, as far as I know, I don't know who's up in line.
Right.
So it's up in the air.
If they are up in line, what are their goals? What are their intentions? What do they want to bring to the movement? What do they want to do?
Because correct me if I'm wrong, I think currently savings are at $2 trillion.
That's correct.
Yeah. So if that happens, that's $2 trillion just right there. Yeah. Basically in a nice little check. And, all it takes is one bad administration. That money can be used for some very bad things.
Right.
And
whether that's overseas foreign aid, quote unquote, looking at Ukraine, or that's, pocketing it in their own money. Exactly. You walk in with, $1 million net worth, and now you have a $2 trillion net worth. Something's not adding up here. But if you look at Congress and you look at the people that's going in, and you look at their net worth increases, and you look at these things, it's like, wait a minute. This makes sense now. I was having the discussion with somebody who was asking me, what are your thoughts on Elon Musk? You didn't vote for him. He's almost like your president. I said, no, he's not. He's doing what I need him to do, though. I don't care who's doing it as long as someone does it. Trump can do it. Elon Musk can do it. My dog can do it. I don't care. I just want someone to get in there and say, hey, what's happening is not right. This is how we fix it, and then fix it. Don't tell me how to do it and then don't do it. Yeah. Show me that you know how to do it, then do it. I want talk and action. Yeah,
because we have enough people telling us we have a problem, but not enough people trying to fix it.
Exactly. And that's whenever I try to, debate people and things like that. And that's why I tell people, whenever you're in a debate, don't sit in the debate and just complain about everything. When I see politicians on the debate stage, they say, oh, taxes are too high. We need to do something. Okay, what are we going to do? But that's the end of the argument. We need to do something. Okay, we'll do something. Give us a comprehensive plan of how you're going to do it. Elon Musk, Donald Trump, they came in and they said, hey, this is what's wrong. This is how we're going to fix it. And people laughed at him, and now they're like, wait a minute, he was serious. It's funny that when, we have politicians who are serious about doing the business of the people, they get laughed at because it's not normal. People aren't looking for it. People think it's a game to actually want to get in there and do the job that you were elected to do.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing I'm concerned about. The national debt is growing. It's been growing for the, decades now. Mm-hmm. Do you think that despite the savings, our debt's still going to grow over this administration?
Well, according to the articles the 20% that is going, there's 20% of the $2 trillion is, 5,000 per household.
Yeah.
The rest of it, so what is that, 70%?
80.
80%. 80%, I'm not a mathematician, folks, political science major. 80% will go into paying off the debt. It's not going to pay it off completely, but it will go towards paying some of it off. And so then in that case, if we somehow find a way to, reignite $1 trillion back into our debt, we got bigger problems.
Yeah. Because, 80% of $2 trillion, Mr. Mathematician, do you know how much that is?
I do not know how much that is. Does we have a calculator?
I'll tell you. It's 1.6 trillion.
Well, there 1.6 trillion. So we'll add 1.6 trillion, pay off 1.6 trillion, not add, God forbid. We'll add 1.6 trillion to the debt. I'm trying to find a way to word that without making it seem like we're adding to the debt, but you don't understand what I'm saying.
We're adding towards paying off the debt.
Right, towards the paying off of the debt. And then you have to have the fundamental belief in the idea that the federal government is not going to then add on 1.6 trillion and say, oh, we broke even. No, we're not going to, let's not look at this as, oh, if we're about to pay off 1.6 trillion, then that means we can, spend some more. No. Yeah. The goal should be, once this 1.6 trillion is paid, we should say, okay, now let's start working on paying more instead of wanting to spend more.
Yeah. And the funny thing here is, I think you remember during COVID, the whole stimulus check thing. Mm-hmm. It was a big controversy. Yeah, we're giving people money to go spend on things, but it's not sustainable. We're going to create so much debt. In this situation, it's it's basically the same thing, but different at the same time. Right. The reason why it was a bad idea back then was because we're basically taking people's money away, wasting money on administrative expenses, and then giving it back to them.
Yep.
So in practice, you actually lose money to get your money back.
Yeah.
Because you have to spend some money on, someone to sign the checks, someone to distribute the checks, paying the UPS guy to come give you your, postal. Mm-hmm. But in this situation, a lot of that is not really the case, because this money isn't just being taxed from you. It's already been taxed. It's already been used. But instead, you get it back directly. And at that point, it's, in theory, the best way to generate growth using their system. If the people can spend that money, what does that mean? That money goes towards the GDP, goes towards, the economy. Because you're not just giving it to some oligarch to effectively just hoard away on a new yacht. Mm-hmm. You're giving it to the average person to go buy stuff at the store, pay off their rent, pay for their kids' education, etc. Because, per household, $5,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And frankly, if you ask me this, if they actually pass this, I don't think Republicans would have any trouble in the elections for the next decade.
Oh, yeah. No, if Republicans, put their brains together for a second and stop the infighting, they will find that they will probably never lose another election in a lot of their lifetimes.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of their lifetimes. Republicans will never lose again. Because how do you argue against
$5,000?
I just gave you $5,000. Right? Imagine you're on the debate stage and you got Gavin Newsom versus J.D. Vance. And Gavin Newsom says, the Republicans are racist. And then J.D. Vance, he does that thing with his eye where he looks and he goes, well, I gave you $5,000. Right? How do you then say...
Well, to be fair, though, Trump gave us all, what was it, $1,000 back in COVID, and he still lost that election.
The stimulus checks. But a lot of people, voted for him again because of the stimulus checks. I believe that 2020 was an interesting situation, to say the least. But, you give someone $5,000.
No strings attached either.
No strings attached. You're not losing. $1,000, we can make an argument, fight against it a little bit. But
yeah.
5,000?
5 racks, yeah.
5. Come on now. There's nobody that's turning down $5,000. No one is going to do that because they need it, especially with the way that the economy's been because of the last 4 years. They're going to take that money.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't, frankly, because it's coming from the fascist Donald Trump. I'm a man of principle.
Right.
And I would totally turn down the $5,000 I say on my social media. And then just grab it real quick.
Yeah, take it. Yeah.
It's my personal business at the end of it. But I guarantee this does happen. You'll be seeing people online being like, I refuse to take the money, yada, yada, yada.
Hey, it's like, this is their change. When you go to the store and your meal comes out to $20 and you pay with a $50 bill, you get $30 back, right? That's right. That's quick math. Come on now, quick math. That's actually the first time I've done quick math on the show and got it right, folks.
Really?
It's a big day. What's today? February 20th. Put it in the history books. Patrick did quick math and got it right.
Man.
But you get your $30.
They're evolving, man. The political science majors.
Right, the
They're
political
evolving.
science, we're evolving. Get ready. We're taking over the math field.
You might not be a barista anymore.
But yeah, you're getting your $30 back. That's what this is. This is the American taxpayer getting change back for the taxes that they've paid and have been used. Like you said, it's been paid on, it's been taxed, it's gone through everything. Now it's like, okay, well, we have this left over. Here's your change, $5,000 per household. Me personally, I think it should be more ratioed, because there are some people who have paid so much more in taxes.
Yeah.
Right. Or, but beggars can't be choosers. I like the $5,000 concept, even the playing ground for everybody. Everybody gets something. Everybody walks away happy. We just need Congress to approve it.
And that's the fun part, because Congress likes to delay a lot of things, don't they?
They do. Let's move into the next segment then. Kash Patel is one of the many people who were delayed. Not anymore. Kash Patel, FBI director. We don't have an FBI director right now, folks. But Kash Patel has finally, been voted on passed through committee, and he will be up for a vote. I don't know when. They don't know when. Democrats are still doing what Democrats do best, and that's stalling. So we'll see.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next week we can come on here with the joy saying Kash Patel's confirmed. Or maybe we can come up here next week with more updates and evidence about what's about to happen with Kash Patel. Linda McMahon is still in committee. They have not moved her forward just yet. But we did have two confirmations. Hold on, let me see here. We did have two confirmations. We had Kelly Loeffler and Howard Lutnick. They will be confirmed, or if they're not already confirmed. So we have that. But the Democrats, once again, instead of them going to sessions, instead of them voting, they're protesting outside the White House, outside the Department of Treasury, outside the Department of Education, against Elon Musk, who is pointing them out for being corrupt.
Yep. I mean, not much to say there. I'm just hoping that, we get our stuff together and hopefully, actually get stuff done. Because at the end of the day, I don't think Doge has the possibility to fire our congressman, unfortunately.
But we know who does.
The people.
The people. And I think that once you expose them and you tell the people, like, hey, this is what they're doing, get them out of there.
Hey, that's $200,000 right there we're saving.
Yeah.
Per person.
Per person. Might send that to the households, too. We'll see.
We'll see.
Let's give them 25% this time. 20 last time, we'll increase it by 5. Give them 25%.
Exactly.
I don't know how much that is. It may be less than 5,000. It may be more than 5,000. We don't really know. But get your money, folks. Get your money from the government. The government owes you. But yet the Democrats, they're not happy. They are not happy with how this last month. It's officially been a month.
Yep.
Today marks a month of the Trump administration. So happy 1 month anniversary to President Donald J. Trump, 45-47. I love saying that. 45-47.
Second president in history.
Second president in history. So, let's do a quick overview, and we'll get to an overview here later in the show then, because I didn't even realize it was a month until I just looked down. And I was like, wait a minute, he was sworn in on the 20th, and today's February 20th. It's been a month. But yeah, but maybe I don't understand the Democrats. Maybe I can't see where they're coming from, Brian. What's in this month what's wrong with them?
I think there might be something in the water, maybe something in the air, I guess it's maybe, it's that time of year, the cold makes people go crazy sometimes. And, the swamp air, really, it might just get to their heads.
It has to be.
It has to be. There's no other logical reason for this kind of action, If they wanted to be effective, instead of, acting like children outside of these buildings and protesting for no gain effect, because no one really cares. I mean, the only reason we know about this is because we're, frankly, too involved in politics.
Right.
The average American doesn't even know their Democrats are protesting outside the Treasury or the White House. So it's just like, what do you do? And
I'm sitting here thinking, I'm reminded, I'm not sure if you saw, there was a video of the Democrats, and they were doing an interpretive dance. They were marching around a government building, and they were chanting, Elon's got to go, all that. But they're doing it as like this enchanting dance with like the horns. It was something off of a movie. You know, like they were doing rituals or something to bring the walls down or something. I was like,
Yeah.
what are y'all doing? Do y'all not see that y'all look stupid right now? And you continue to do it. You look stupid. You look crazy. But no, they have the chants now. They got the little songs that they're singing, talking about we're not going back. The last person to say that we're not going back, we all saw how that went for.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It's genuinely such a mess. I mean, I'd wish they'd do it here in Houston. That'd be a fun thing to go watch.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a little bit more from the kazoo orchestra, but just a little.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I mean, like, you could throw peanuts at them and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, laugh and just throw it.
Make it a double move. We need to figure out, when they're gonna, do a protest in Houston. Call the government and be like, hey, we need the kazoo orchestra here now.
Yep.
Now.
Live music right there.
Go to the kazoo orchestra. Go to the protest. Go to the protest. Go to the kazoo orchestra. Or we can do it all in one building. We can have like the kazoo orchestra in the corner doing the music and everything for them when they do their little songs and chants. And let's just have us an audience making like a big show.
We can make some money there too. Like sell tickets to this whole show.
Oh yeah, have government agents come to the show. Government officials, workers of the government, federal workers. Let's bring them, and we're going to charge $900,000 a ticket.
Yeah, per ticket.
Per ticket.
That's pretty cheap,
and that's
actually.
that's for the top row. That's for the 600s. That's for the 600s and 700s.
What about front row seats?
We're popping those out at $1 trillion a pop.
Exactly. This is how we
$1
pay
trillion front
folks.
row.
This is how we pay off our debt right
This
here.
is how we pay the debt
This is
off
the
right here.
this is the grand plan here at the Patriots stand. This is how we solve the economy.
We're gonna have a VIP package. It's gonna be called the Doge package. It's $2 trillion.
Elon Musk, hit us up.
Elon Musk hit us up. We got plans, man. We got plans.
We will make America great again right here.
Right here on the Patriots. The Patriots, they should hire us to be presidential advisors because we're coming up with some of the greatest ideas known to man.
Right,
here
these
on this
ideas
show.
have never
Ever.
been this great.
Ever. And and if you really want to get fancy, once it's all done, we'll have Trump come out and sign some more executive orders. Right on the stage, just right there on the stage, just like he did for the inauguration.
He's gonna dedicate a whole day to the Patriots.
Yeah,
then there we go.
A whole day. Patriots Day.
Yep.
February 20th. Remember that. Patriots Day. There it is. But I mean, speaking of ticket prices, I'm sorry, we're about to jump off track because we are in the great city of Houston, and everyone knows that when the weather gets cold, when February and March start to blend, there's this thing that happens in Houston. You can already feel it in the air.
Yep.
I saw it yesterday. Everywhere I looked down at people's feet, and you saw a certain type of thing. It's here. Do y'all feel it? The red dirt is flying right now.
Yep. All the animals are starting to come downtown for some reason. I don't know why.
Starting to come downtown. I was taking my pet fish for a walk, and a herd of bulls, cattle farmers, horses, pigs, sheep, they all took off running in front of me. Folks, y'all know what that means.
It's the end times for anyone who wants to drive in that area of town.
It's the end times in downtown. The wonderful, spectacular, amazing. I can smell the deep fried Oreos and
the turkey legs too.
The turkey legs and the sausage. I can smell it in the air now. Y'all know we're talking about that good old Houston livestock show and rodeo.
Amen. It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming, folks. I don't know about you, but you better get you some tickets. We were trying to get tickets yesterday. We're going to go see Zach Top. That's my guy. The lineup this year was okay. We're going to go see Zach Top. And for it was section 725. I'll never forget it. 725. Do you want to make a guess of how much a ticket was to sit in section 725?
$350.
A little high. $225.
$225.
For section 7.
Oh, what's section 7?
725.
Yeah.
That's above the roof.
Oh.
Not section 100. Not section 200. Not even section 4, 5, or 6, but section 700, which is a little tiny dot.
I'm saying that question was a little bit misleading. I thought you said like 725. Like there's.
No. I wish. See, folks, it's the cold. It'll be over, right? But we end up finding seats in the 100s for $85.
How does that work?
Resale.
Or you're probably just behind a column.
Resale. The resale someone, the ticket scalpers, I'm not sure if y'all scroll through like Facebook comments. I love scrolling through Facebook comments. Oh my goodness. It's so funny. But the people on Facebook, they were like, because the rodeo posted, like, get your tickets. And there was this lady on Facebook, and she was like, the ticket scalpers are getting out of hand. Y'all need to do something about it right now. And she's right. Because the rodeo sold the ticket that I bought for $80, $85, right? Mm-hmm. Literally, the row right behind us, the tickets are on resale for how much? $300. The row, it's not the same. It's like 2 rows above us and to the right, $250.
You got yours for $80, right?
We got ours for $80. So to sit in the row behind me, you're paying because people, they would go, they buy the ticket, and then they resell it. The Houston Rodeo's got to do something about this. I can't.
What can they do though, objectively?
I don't know.
Because you have families going here that need to buy more than one ticket.
They need to do what Beyonce does.
What does she do?
They do the little pre-sale, where in order to buy the ticket, you gotta do the little sign in and get on the little wait list, and then they be like, tickets are on sale, and then they like a number. You're like number 1,793 in line. And you wait for like 15, 20 minutes for all 1,793 people in front of you to buy their ticket, and then it's your turn.
You see, I love the rodeo, but it's no Beyonce. I don't think anyone would go through that process.
I would. It's a Houston tradition. What did Hank Williams Jr. say? It's a family tradition.
Well, it's a tradition because it's easy and convenient.
The
second you start removing that convenience and don't make it as easy.
But I look forward to the fair. You don't have to buy tickets. You just get into there.
I mean, you have to pay for the parking.
Yeah, but That's another thing. The parking. Where is the government with the traffic cone counters for the Houston Rodeo parking? Because it's getting ridiculous.
You see, like if they were involved in that, their budget would double.
Double. It would be.
And I don't think Doge would be very happy about that.
Doge
frankly.
wouldn't be happy at all. We thought. Do you know how much? The rodeo itself is already expensive. Animals are expensive. The lifestyle, the Western lifestyle, the country lifestyle, it's expensive already. You put the government in it. You think $300 for a cowboy hat is expensive. Wait till they get their hands on it. Buy your little cheap little kid's cowboy hat, $2,000. Bam, on your head.
It's going to become Disney World, man.
Literally. It will become Disney World because the government, when it comes to money, they're not the smartest. They're not accountants. They're political science majors that don't realize that when you take 20% away, you got 80% left. Yeah, you got 80% left. They don't understand that. You see where I'm coming from? Mm-hmm. Hold on, folks. My mind it left me for a second. That math,
See, this is what we have. This is why you and me are here. You're exactly. The political science guy. I'm the finance guy. Right. So
yeah, I'm gonna leave him with the numbers because to me, I don't know if 80%. Because when I think about it, you have 100,
mm-hmm.
and you take 20. Oh, that is 80.
Yep, it is 80.
Never mind. Because I'm thinking like 80, 90, but then you gotta add that 100, and the 100. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I sound stupid now. I was trying to prove an argument, but it's not there. It's not there.
What exactly are you trying to talk about?
I don't know. I tried to make the argument that it should have been 70. But it's 80. Yeah, I can't fight it. You won. It's okay,
Very
folks.
Good.
He's 2-0, right? He beat me in the Super Bowl. Congratulations. And then he just beat me when it came to doing math. Well, so I can't.
Speaking of beating, you heard about the Canadians?
Let's talk about it. See how we're just running the segments. Bam, 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 bam.
And we are doing segues amazingly today.
They can't stop us.
They can't.
It's like we got a script. There's no script, by the way.
Scriptless.
Off the top, off the dome, boom, boom, boom. You know what else was off the dome? An American's fist on a Canadian's head. Talk about it.
Yeah, no. So anyone who is on social media has seen a lot of fun videos where our neighbor up north decided to, boo our national anthem. To
Boo!
Which, in the first 9 seconds of the game, 3 fights broke out between Americans and Canadians inside the hockey game. Yeah. That's not even talking about the fans outside the game.
The fans. We don't even know what happened with them.
Anyhow, for being a sport that isn't really considered American, more of a Canadian sport, the Canadians got a whooping.
Both. They got a whooping scoreboard-wise and physically.
Yep. We were up 3 points over the Canadians, I believe.
3-0. They couldn't answer back.
I think they scored 1, didn't they?
I don't think so. I think it's 3-0. And mind you, this is the Canadians' favorite pastime. This is like beating a shark in a race in water.
Yeah.
You know, like you're not supposed to do it. This is like out hunting a female lion. Like, you're not supposed to do it. But you booed the national anthem. And when you did that, you know, what did Toby Keith say? As, you know, something came flying in and put a black eye on the Statue of Liberty. But, you know, we blew up your world like the 4th of July. That's what he said.
Well,
and we blew up the Canadians' world in that hockey game like the 4th of July.
Looks like we're going to get a rematch later tonight. 7 p.m. Tune in for the Canadians versus American hockey game.
America, we have one job.
Speaking of which, it should be interesting if a new poll out of Canada says 27% of them, Canadians, see Americans as a enemy now.
Enemies, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, America, we got one job. I don't like odd numbers because it makes it harder to do math. Can we just break it even at 30%? So America's got one job. 27, that's a 3% increase.
Exactly.
Boom! I'm 2 for 2 today, folks. No, I'm not. I'm 2 for 3. I messed up the 80%. But I'm 2 for 3 on quick math off the top of my head. I'm getting better.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe by the end of the year, you'll be able to do 2 + 2 in your head.
Like that.
Exactly.
See, we were just talking to, you know, a great friend of ours, Justin Skyro. I know he's listening. We're talking to a great friend of ours, and he's like, look, the more the show goes on, you're getting better. He was right. I'm getting better with my math.
Very good.
Bam. I hope my math teacher's watching.
So, I mean, I love to see the game, but unfortunately,
yeah,
I'm not going to buy a whole service to watch hockey.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Because after tonight, there's no reason to tune into hockey. I'll see the clips on Instagram tomorrow.
Guilty, but they got one job, 3% increase.
Yeah, you know, one fight each percent. You know.
Yeah, there you go. And let's redo it. And remind the people where this game is happening.
You know, in the great unpatriotic city that would totally not care about getting their anthem booed of Boston.
Home of the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's going to be there, folks. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Tom Brady will not be there.
It's not going to be pretty, I'll tell you what.
It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. Anyone that knows anything about Boston, they got the Boston Red Sox. And they got the New England Patriots, and Boston loves their sports, and they love their country. They're not going to take it lightly.
No, they won't.
I hope some Canadians, you know, come down to the game and boo our anthem.
I don't know.
I just need 2 people.
I heard they're not letting too many Canadians in across the border anymore. You know,
that is true. I forgot Trump was, you know, locking them down and locking them up. I saw a meme, and he was like, "Yeah, Canada, we'll build the wall for America and Canada. They're just northern Mexicans." And I was like, "That is just northern Mexicans." So
hey, you know, at least not Philly.
Yeah, like
if the hockey game was in Philly,
it'd be a different. We'd have people climbing on poles, and it's
the stadium would get burnt down.
Exactly.
With everyone inside, like the Americans and Canadians.
Yeah, everybody's got to go. Speaking of things burning down, aviation in America. Planes are falling out of the sky left and right and left. And I asked myself the question yesterday because there was another plane, you know, that it tried to land and it
the 180.
Yeah, and it did a little 180. So I asked myself, are planes just now starting to do this, or have planes always been doing this? Have we always been having these incidents, and we're just now getting media attention on them?
I don't know. What's the answer, Mr. Prudhomme?
I don't know. That's why I asked you.
Oh, very good.
Very good.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you see that with both administrations. Whenever Biden was in office, you didn't really hear too much about the bad stuff he was doing. But once Trump got in, anything bad going on was immediately pinned on him.
Immediately.
You saw this with children in cages as the biggest example of that. Happening under Biden and Obama. And then Trump's in office. It's all they talk about for months until they find something new. Do you remember that back in Trump's first term?
I remember.
Well, it was a whole news story about how he got 2 scoops of ice cream instead of 1, like the rest of his entourage.
Yeah.
It's like, how is this news? Like
they go easy on people like Biden. But, you know, Trump was blamed for stuff that he didn't even do.
Like, it's not even funny. Trump, he's a bad, evil guy for getting 2 scoops of ice cream. Biden, you know, they make it a whole thing about how he likes chocolate chip ice cream.
I get that. I knew more about Joe Biden's ice cream love than I did about his policies. But that's what they do. The media, they spin things, which is why I asked the question. I said, what if, you know, we've been having these plane aviations and, you know, we're praying for all the people, you know, that have been through that. But what if, you know, this has just always been happening, but because of Trump being in office. Now they're really wanting to grab and put the media attention on it, and try to be like, look, this is his fault because of the people in his cabinet, or because of this, because of that. And you look and it says, wait a minute, history shows that this would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, who knows? Maybe it's a DI hires.
Maybe that's what it is. But they're not showing us, who the pilots are and all that of these planes. But I'm trying to say maybe it is the DI. Maybe he was on to something with it. But they don't want to release the information. They're not going to show us. So we'll have to just kind of wait and see.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe the information will get out one day. Kind of like the JFK files are supposed to be.
Right. Cash Patel said day one. Day one, he'll release the JFK files.
Genuine question: do you think they're going to be doctored, or do you think they're going to be the straight up thing?
Doctored.
Yeah.
I don't see him being able to get them off.
Because I heard they were supposed to go out as soon as Reagan was in office, but they kept on pushing it back.
A lot of people said that they're going to do it. It just hasn't happened. We haven't seen it happen. I would love for it to happen. I would love for it to just be pure, clean-cut copy, none of the extra intuitive stuff about it. Just clear, clean-cut copy. I don't see the government doing that, especially if the government did actually play a part in something. They're not going to tell us that.
They have no benefit in doing so. And if it was as clean-cut and as innocent as it was, they would have dropped it years ago.
Exactly. There's stuff in there that they don't want us to know, and that's why they didn't drop it. And I think when Cash Patel does drop it, it'll be a lot of redacted information.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be basically more black ink than actual...
Yeah.
There's going to be more white than black on that page somehow. Or other way around, I mean.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's how they operate. That's how the government operates. They say, oh, we're going to do this, and then when technically they're doing what they said, but it's like, this is not what we asked for.
Who knows? Maybe we can use ChatGPT to fill in the blanks. What do you think?
Interesting. You think ChatGPT has the, knowledge to, be like, this is definitely what a government document is going to say?
Well, the thing about ChatGPT is it's not as smart as people think it is. It just knows a lot.
Yeah.
So
it's only as smart as the human developer.
Exactly. So, I mean, it only has access to it's only as smart as the information it has access to. As, basic reasoning, but basically not something that's, someone who studied the whole JFK thing wouldn't be able to tell you.
And for the people that are like, what is ChatGPT? That is AI. That's AI, artificial intelligence.
Every student's best friend currently.
That's a lie. I do not use ChatGPT for my schoolwork. I'm an academic, honest person. I just wrote an essay about academic honesty, actually.
Well, in our finance classes, they're actually telling us to use ChatGPT.
See, folks, be careful. Get you an accountant that's already graduated now, because the generation of doctors and lawyers and things that are coming out of college right now, they're not going to be the smartest.
Oh, come on. Don't say that.
They're all cheating. They're all cheating. They're all using AI. I'm going to ask my doctor, 20 years down the road, when you graduated, were you using ChatGPT?
Well, here's the difference, Mr. Prudhomme. With maybe with doctor, I understand. I don't want a ChatGPT doctor because I'm going to end up going back in for a second trip. But with, some other fields, finance, unfortunately, being one of them, it's a tool. Yeah. We already use Excel to speed up our work. We already use other applications to speed up our work. ChatGPT is just, an extension of that. Why spend most of our time putting in numbers? We can use a program to set it up for us. And that's the thing I like about schools. Instead of just saying either no AI or all AI, they do it on a case-by-case basis. You don't want a lawyer using AI because they're not going to know their laws they're supposed to, represent. Same with a doctor. If you use AI, the doctor doesn't know what part of the body they're supposed to cut.
You're in the middle of surgery and the doctor
pulls out his phone. It's just
ChatGPT. Where is the liver located? And he sends it to ChatGPT to figure out where your liver is. And you're like, absolutely not.
Yeah, but with an accountant or someone working in finance, it's basically just an application. It's not as powerful as people think. It's powerful as long as you know how to use it, which is the thing about AI that people, a lot of people don't realize. You have to know how to use it for it to be effective, or else it's basically glorified Google.
Right.
How do I make a good recipe? Put it in Google and you'll get the same answer. But it's once you realize, like, okay, calculate how much interest I should charge on this form right here for 10 years. And now it's basically like a faster version of Excel, which is very useful for anyone who's an Excel head, as myself.
Right.
So, yeah, no, it can be useful. And I just think if used in moderation and in the right way, it could be a very powerful tool to be taught to students, because AI isn't going to go away. It's going to keep getting developed. It's such a powerful tool. And I think by, restricting its use in the U.S., we would be hampering our students effectively. But once again, just do it in moderation. Don't just say use ChatGPT for everything, or else people are just gonna, when they have to show that they know the material, Google it's the same thing as Googling the answer.
Right.
Right.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Since we're on AI, do you ever think that sometimes AI gets too far or gets too out of hand?
I mean, it's only, once again, it's a tool. Just like with a gun or a machine, it gets out of hand when you use it out of hand.
Right.
If you keep using ChatGPT to make you some recipes or replicate grandma's cookie recipe, which some people might say is out of hand, that might be a problem. But if you just keep it for like small, simple things like, hey, ChatGPT, tell me what 2 + 2 is for or mathematically challenged people, or what color is the tree in this picture? Because you have the hardest time finding out what kind of shade of green it is. And it's a useful tool. But once again, it is a tool, and it's all about its user to define how it's being used ethically. But what do you think?
I don't have a problem with AI. The AI that if I do use AI, I'll use Grok. That's the Twitter version of it, the Elon Musk AI. And normally I use it to have it draw. I didn't even know AI drew. And when I found out that I can draw a picture with AI.
You're treading on very thin ground right now.
With drawing a picture?
AI and art is a very contentious issue online, if you weren't aware.
Well, I'm not an art major. I don't plan on being an artist anytime in my life. Anytime in my life.
Well, here's the issue. Art majors are unemployed. What does that mean? They spend a lot of time online, which means they hear you saying AI and art, they're not going to be very happy with you.
Well, they'll be okay.
You're going to get doxxed. You're getting doxxed.
You're an art major. You're not doxing anyone. Stop it. Draw me a picture and keep it moving. But no, like I went on the Twitter Grok AI, and it was very impressive because I could be like, draw Donald Trump and Hulk Hogan eating dinner. And it was this beautiful picture of Donald Trump. And like, it looked realistic. I was like, oh my goodness. And so then I just got carried away. And then I just started naming celebrities to just start sitting down and eating them, eating with each other and shaking hands.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I think I made one. It was like Byron Donalds and Kamala Harris ran a campaign together. It was like Byron Donalds for president, Kamala Harris for vice president. I got carried away. So sometimes when I get, AI can be fun.
Yep.
Sometimes. And then there's other times where, I was just talking, in one of my classes at college about, academic honesty and, how it affects yourself, how it affects other people. Then it gets into that, it's an ethical game.
Yeah. And
when it comes to ethics, I believe that each person has their own ethics. They have their own morals of how they want to live and how they want to do all that. That's all on them. I'm not going to hold it against you. I'm not going to, if you truly think that that is morally right and ethically right, then you go ahead. If that's truly what you're convicted on deep down in your belief system, that, if I use ChatGPT to, write 3 essays for me, it won't hurt anybody. We'll be okay.
It starts there. Right. And then it's suddenly doing everything you were supposed to be doing. I'm not going to say to be fair. No, it genuinely needs to be done right. And if you just abuse it, just like if you abuse any other thing, it can, lead to some ethical dilemmas.
Yeah, my only fear is the reliability on AI. Is I don't want society to go and be relying on AI, 60, 70, 80%. I think it needs to be, it's great to have it there, but let's not rely on it heavily like that. Like you said, it's a tool.
Yeah.
You're not using a hammer every day. So don't use ChatGPT every day.
I mean, at the same time, you see this with other stuff too. I mean, you saw it with computers, phones. As time goes on, there's tools that are better than other ones that existed. For example, 10 years ago, we were in elementary school. You would never use a laptop or a computer to write an essay. And now we're in college. It's all people do. I don't think I've written an essay by hand in a few years now.
Yeah.
And, AI, I'm not going to say that AI is going to write our essays anymore. That's hopefully not going to happen.
Right.
But at the same time, AI is going to replace a lot of things that we usually used to do that were very tedious or manual. And I think that's the direction we're going in. Or, that should be a direction we go in. It basically goes towards making us more efficient, not making us more lazy.
Yeah, I would agree. I couldn't tell you the last time I actually, sat down, pencil, paper, and wrote out an essay. I just wrote an essay yesterday. It was a response paper to Plato, The Trial and Death of Socrates. That's philosophy for those people that are out there that are like, this guy knows what he's talking about, huh? And I wrote a response paper for that, 500 words, typed it up, and I was sitting there and I was like, I couldn't imagine having to write 500 words with my
Come
hand.
on, Plato's too basic, man. Go read some Aristotle.
It's the trial and death of Socrates, okay? And first, see, I'm glad you brought this up because now the viewers at home are about to get scared for a second. I'm sorry that I have to do this. Who trained Aristotle?
I'm not answering that question.
No. Who trained
I refuse
Aristotle?
to answer that question.
Who trained Aristotle?
Who has the better and more logical reasonings out of both people?
The creator of them? Who trained Aristotle?
Doesn't matter who trained him.
Plato.
Aristotle
who trained Plato?
Aristotle has the better
Plato?
thoughts.
Who trained Plato?
I'm not answering any
Socrates.
of these questions.
Plato is third in line. He's third in line. And then he went on and trained, was it Augustus? No, he trained Alexander the Great. And what did Alexander the Great do? He lost to elephants in India. Okay, so stop it.
Wait, what'd you just say?
Stop it.
No, say that again.
Alexander. Plato.
Exactly.
Plato trained I forgot the man's name. I forgot his name.
You know, you're losing this argument here, Pat.
I forgot the man's name. You've made me mad. I'm upset. I am upset. I am so upset that I forgot this man's name.
I'm just saying Aristotle is
That's
better.
his name. Aristotle trained Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
And what did Alexander the Great do?
Conquered the Hellenic world and basically...
And how did he end it? How did that voyage end?
He died of illness, actually.
No.
Yeah?
No.
He did not die in battle.
No. He didn't die in battle. I didn't say he died in battle. But what happened? What made him go home early?
I believe I think he might have died in a chair, actually.
Stop it.
I think he died in a chair.
He went around bullying nations. That's what he did that weren't, too civilized. And then he met Asia. And Asia told him, buddy, we got war elephants. We got the spears and the chariots and everything you got. And he got bullied by India. And he said, wait a minute. I can't do this anymore. And he went home. Who raised that man?
You mean the man who conquered
Aristotle.
most of the known
Aristotle, no.
At the age of what, 21, 25?
That's like me going and taking over a preschool.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You have to remember how big of an area he took over was. You remember back then, you didn't have cars or anything.
It was nothing but land.
With people in it.
God. He took over a little village. He took over little villages. He named 3 cities Alexander, and then he...
Well, genuine question.
died.
Have you read Aristotle?
Yes.
Really?
I've read...
Which work?
I've read Aristotle... No.
Which of his works have you read?
We are on... The viewers are scared. They're like, what are they talking about? What is Plato? What is Aristotle? What is a Socrates?
Oh, come on.
These are people, folks.
Which books of Aristotle have you read?
I don't know the name of it off the top of my head.
Oh, come on.
It's in my room. No. When we get back to the campus today, I will pull out my philosophy books, and you can see the philosophy books.
I guarantee you probably read Nicomachean Ethics. I guarantee it.
That's exactly what it is.
I called it.
It's the red and white book, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep, that's the exact one I read.
You're a basic...
That's exactly
You
what
are
I
a
read.
basic fella.
Yeah.
Very basic.
Hey, I read them. You know who I also read? I read the person who trained him, Plato.
You know, for being such a political guy, I'm surprised you haven't read his Politics. Literally, the book is straight up called Aristotle's Politics.
Well, that's because Aristotle is third in line. Okay, I was sticking to the Plato Socrates. Socrates is my guy. Socrates is number 1 on my list. I love Socrates. Hate the way he went out.
I'm just saying, if you read their works, I think Aristotle would have voted for Trump.
Probably.
Couldn't say a thing about Plato, though.
Plato is in the middle. He's the middle child. He's the problem child.
I'm saying read some Aristotle.
I think Socrates,
he is the best out of those 3.
Socrates would have voted for Trump.
You think so?
Compared to Kamala.
Oh.
You give Socrates the choice.
Dude, Socrates wouldn't he would just not vote.
Probably. But that's the thing. See, folks, this is why you got to you got to broaden your horizon. You got to broaden your knowledge.
You could do that by reading some Aristotle. You know, at the good old library back on campus, they have his books.
I'm not reading it. I've read Aristotle. I've read
You
Plato.
read one book of Aristotle.
I've read Plato. We've done the Socrates. We know how the line went. It went 3 generations. Bam, bam, bam. Boom, boom, boom. I forgot the man's name again. Socrates taught Plato. Plato taught whatever his name is. I don't even know his name anymore. I quit. I don't care.
I'm telling you, you need to read some Aristotle.
What's the man's name? Aristotle. Socrates taught Plato. Plato taught Aristotle. Aristotle taught Alexander the Great. And then Alexander the Great taught nobody. So...
Well, Aristotle didn't just teach Alexander the Great. That was one of his students.
Who is one of Aristotle's greatest students?
One of his greatest achievements?
Students.
Oh, students. I don't know. He had a lot of them.
I believe that a man is determined by the legacy he leaves.
Well, he created the Athenian Constitution, which was the foundation for Athenian government and democracy in the area.
No. I said student. Who was his student? Alexander the Great. That's the only one you can name. No one knows No one knows what else this man did besides that and that.
Who's Plato's student? Who is his greatest?
Aristotle.
Who else?
I don't know.
Exactly. See what we get into? It's semantics. There's no point in arguing that angle.
I don't know. But Plato's student, Plato told his student to leave legacy. I can trace the line of Plato down too. I can't trace the line of Aristotle.
How so?
You can't.
Aristotle has the biggest legacy out of those three.
How?
He literally founded.
Crazy. Socrates. First off, none of this is possible without Socrates. So let's stop that right now. None of this happens without Socrates.
You know what? Let's both read some books then later today.
Okay. Next week, folks, be ready for a philosophical.
I think I win automatically. Philosophical
argument again, because I'm gonna go read my Socrates book again. I got another one. I just wrote my response paper on Plato. I'm gonna read another one.
You should try one on Aristotle.
We'll see what happens.
Very good.
He's wasted 5 minutes of my time arguing about Alexander the Great and Aristotle. Like, what are we doing?
It's no waste of time. We talked about one of the greatest philosophers of all of human history.
And the people still don't know what he did. That's messed up.
That's not a thing about him. It's more or less about the people. They don't teach the right things in school anymore.
They don't. Like, if I was to call, we're doing a little experiment. I'm going to call one of my cousins and be like, do you know who Aristotle is? Do you know who Plato is? Do you know who Socrates? Like, people don't know who these people are. The education system in America is failing the kids. Get rid of the Department of Education.
So true.
Get rid of it. Because I'm going to start making that a standard in my life. If you don't know who the student of Socrates was, and you don't know who that person's student was, we cannot have a discussion about politics or anything else. It's not possible because you don't even know the foundation of the politics.
I'm telling
Socrates was the first politician, folks. The first greatest politician. Defended himself on trial. Did he win? No. They end up killing him. But he stood on business, 10 toes down. Bam. Personal opinion, of course.
Very personal. And very much opinion.
Socrates is the greatest. He started the movement. We're having this show right now because of Socrates.
Okay. I'm just saying, in theory, you could say about almost anyone.
Oh, folks, it's rapid fire time. We're in the last 10 minutes. So y'all already know what my rapid fire is about to be about because somebody wanted to waste 5 minutes. We missed a whole segment about drag shows at church. And a pastor saying he wanted to kill Trump supporters because he wanted to talk about Aristotle and Alexander the Great. So you know who y'all can thank for that? Brian Fuentes. That guy right there. You see him? Look at him. He's smiling because he thinks it's funny.
It's amazing.
This guy right here. And so now I got to go home and now I got to read extra books when I already don't like reading at all. Now I got to
That's your issue. You need to like reading, man.
I need to read
Be more educated.
books so I can come back next week and prove to him that Aristotle is nothing but the man who was made by Plato, who was made by Socrates.
You see, you could have spent that time, that whole minute right there, setting yourself up to talk about the said drag show, but no. You still want to talk about Aristotle.
I could have. It was exactly a minute, too, because I started at 51. It's 52. Oh, well, folks. My bad. Oops. Well, no, we're moving on. I'm not saying anything else about the big three.
The big three.
Because
You're still doing it.
It's just
You're talking about it right now.
Me, Socrates. I'm sorry. Rapid fire. Moving on. We're done here, folks. This is live on the air, no script, folks. This is what happens when you step into the Patriots den. Sometimes we go somewhere else and we don't even know. No, it woke me up. I was a little tired, not gonna lie to you, but that woke me up. I am pumped up. I am warm. It's 32 degrees, feel like 80. He got me fuming. Rapid fire, go ahead.
Yeah, no, so I'll take that topic from you. Drag show.
Oh my God! Somebody stop him! Stop him immediately.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, frankly. Like, on one hand, these drag shows have no place in the church, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. It's the fact this pastor has the, I'll say, he has the balls to say, yeah, this is okay. And on top of that, kill Trump supporters. Yeah. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because it's just wrong on so many levels. Like, I don't even know where to start, frankly. I'm at a lost for words.
Yeah. I mean, anyone who sits down and thinks that it's okay to get rid of a certain group of people or, hurt someone or kill someone simply because they don't agree with you, I don't care what religion you are, what belief you are, what your moral, ethical standards are, that's not right. You can't possibly defend that. And then, he's known for hosting the drag shows and everything at his church. But that's not even, like you said, that's not even the issue. The issue is the people that are participating in it. The people that are going back. That's the issue. Because he can do, let him do it. Why are people buying into this? Where did society go wrong to where we think it's okay to have drag shows in front of kids? That's the problem. Why are parents letting their children see stuff like this?
It's very interesting you bring that up. My friends, they ask me sometimes, Brian, why aren't you more supportive of that community, the LGTV community, the alphabet boys? And I say very simply, the foundation is inherently a sexual movement. That's what it is. It was about sexual liberation in the 70s, and it's still at its core today. And that's the reason why something like a drag, a drag show it's so centered in its movement now. It's literally, you think of LGBTQ, you go to one of their parades, if, God forbid, and there you are. You see drag queens all around you. You see these men and women in very, frankly, scandalous clothing. And it's not seen as, boo, that doesn't represent our movement. It's celebrated.
Right.
You've been seeing this for decades. This is the stuff that represents them. And that's one of my biggest issues with the movement. It's not that, people want to do what they want to do. I have issues with that too, but that's for a different time.
Right.
Read some Aristotle. The issue is its conclusion. The whole point of that movement is sexual liberation, whether it be orientation or identity. But regardless, it's at its heart. So if you keep its conclusion going, eventually you're going to be into normalizing a lot of very degenerate things, even by today's standards. And it's just going to be seen as love is love. So my thing is, you have to stop it while it's still small, or else it's going to get into a problem where now, instead of saying, we need to stop detransitioning kids, it's going to be into, we need to support... or stop supporting transgenders in the womb. That's the thing we're going to go on, because we're playing. You keep playing defense, you're never going to win. Yeah, and that's the issue here. Yeah, we allowed it to get into our churches, we allowed it to get into our schools, and now it's getting into our our households too. It's crazy. Yeah,
sometimes you have your friends say, "Why don't you support it?" Sometimes you have to be, the gadfly on the dead horse. Read Socrates and Plato. And you got to wake up a dying city. And you got to say, hey, this is not right. This is a problem. And the reason that you don't see it's a problem is because you've been living, blinded and living in your own delusional world. But when you step outside of it and you are on the outside looking in, Socrates, you say, wait a minute, this is not right. Socrates went on a venture trying to find, there's politicians, who is the greatest politician? There's writers, who is the greatest writer? And he was asking them these questions, and what they found out is they couldn't answer the questions. I dare that community, start asking the questions within yourself. You know what? Why do I think this is okay? Is it because I just want somebody to be able to express their belief? That's fine, but now ask yourself, so why do you think that other people need to accept it too, though? Why do you feel like it needs to be pushed down and forced down people's throat? Start asking yourself those questions.
Man, what a philosophical man. It passed on to me now. I can't say it. Philosophical.
Philosophical. Get it right.
I got it right the first time when I corrected
I don't know
myself.
what you're talking about.
You did it 5 times.
Philosophical. I turned into Socrates over here, folks. He thought he was Aristotle. He's not. Aristotle only had one person under him. Socrates had a line. It was just generations and generations and generations and generations. I am a student of Socrates, standing here right now in 2025.
I'll pray for you.
As Socrates said, I am going now, and you're staying. Whichever one is better, I don't really know. You remember that, don't you?
Of course I did.
Okay, then. Because, folks, it's 10:58, and we're leaving. And y'all might stay. I don't really know. I don't know. Does something happen? I don't know if something happens after this. Like, I don't know. I've never kind of, like, stayed around and looked for that. I should probably do that. Let's see. Well, we're gone, and you're to stay. Which one is better? We don't really know. But one day, we will find out.
One day.
That's a quote from Socrates, folks. Get it right. The greatest of the great. Folks, this is the Patriots Den. You stepped in. The Lions were hungry. And some of the Lions, aren't. They had some bad opinions. They had some bad takes.
Very much so. They're also, said bad line is also pretty bad at math, too.
They couldn't say philosophical. They couldn't get it right. They, had bad takes on Alexander the Great. They had horrible takes on Aristotle. They don't know philosophy like they think they know philosophy, because philosophy has nothing to do with 2 + 2. So there's that. He should have ChatGPT'd it. They wouldn't have seen it. But that's okay, because, we still love him. He's, great. He, when I was a child, I did childish things. But now I'm a man, and I've put away. I think that's what it says. I don't know. So it's okay, Brian. We're going to forgive you. We're going to forgive you for this show today. Next week, though. Next week, we need better. We need cleaner.
I'm just saying, you look at the current streak, I've won twice. Don't make it 3.
You're not, though. It's time to break. I've never lost 3 times in a row in anything I've done.
Get ready for next week.
Folks, it's 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning into the Patriots Den. I'm your host, Patrick Prudhomme. That's your co-host, Brian Fuentes, live in Houston, Texas, a MikeCon production, Radio Dabang. Thank you for stepping into the den.